Hey guys, so we've been talking a lot about sunscreen for the last several days now, basically all weekend. And I've had so many comments and questions, and instead of responding to every one of them, because a lot of those videos have like 400 or 500 comments, I had a lot of questions, and a lot of the questions revolved around this sunscreen in particular, which is the Klairs Airy Soft UV Essence. Is this one safe to keep using? Well, a little bit of an update. Klairs has, sources say Klairs have sent these over to an independent lab to be tested. And currently, if you look for them online, most places, they have paused the sales of the Klairs Airy Soft UV Essence along with the Purito. The main issue with the Klairs one, it uses the exact same two filters that are in the Purito. And we're assuming at this point that the Klairs is probably going to come in somewhere around the same SPF lab that the Purito did, which was 19. So actually, it's not totally garbage, but I should cross this off and put what it actually is. There we go. SPF 19. That's what I'm assuming the independent labs are going to come out around. There's just no way at this point it's going to come out to be an SPF 50. The labs have tested this. Unless there is somehow a counterfeit product or the lab was somehow trying to get publicity or the company that did the independent testing, I just don't see it that it's possible that this is going to come out as an SPF 50. So cross it out, SPF 19. That's probably around what it's going to be, and I'm assuming that's what the Klairs is probably going to come out to be as well, but we don't really know yet until the lab tests come back. So the Klairs does use the exact same two filters as in the Purito. It was made by the same third-party sunscreen manufacturer, so I have a feeling that the Klairs is going to have the exact same issues. Now, the Keep Cool sunscreen, I've also been asked about this one. This one also uses only two filters, however, it uses one of the same filters that the Klairs and the Purito uses, but it uses a second filter, which is different. So it's possible that the Keep Cool could come in higher. But at this point, I'm very, very leery that this is going to be SPF 50. It does have a different filter, so we'll see. Keep Cool is also sending theirs to labs to be independently tested, and they've mentioned that they're suspending or pausing sales of this. However, this is still available on their website, but it's not available at like other third-party retailers like Yes Style. So we'll find out more about the Keep Cool. I'm a little bit more optimistic about this one, but not super optimistic. So if you're using this one, I also recommend you stop using it for right now, or just assume that maybe it's an SPF of 20 or 10. We're not exactly sure. So if you're using Keep Cool, I recommend probably stopping using it until the lab comes back. If you're using the Klairs, also recommend discontinuing using it until we hear more. I've also been asked a lot about the Purito Water Comfy Block. Now, this was also made by the same lab that made the other Purito and the Klairs one. So at this point, I would also assume that this probably isn't going to be an SPF 50, although it does use different filters. It's a mineral-based sunblock. But mineral-based sunblocks that don't have a ton of white cast, I'm not exactly sure how effective they can be. So at this point, if you're using this one, I'd probably recommend discontinuing it or just assuming that it's a lot lower than the SPF they advertise. So that should clear up most of the questions people have been asking. So basically, if you're using any of the Purito sunscreens, I recommend discontinuing them at this point until there's more information. And if you're using the Klairs, I also recommend discontinuing it until we know more, and the Keep Cool until we know more. So then a lot of people are asking me about alternatives. And I want to make this point again. This is not necessarily specifically a K-beauty issue. There have been sunscreens from almost every brand that's made a sunscreen that's had an issue similar to this, just because sunscreens are so complex. There's filters. There's also other ingredients in sunscreens that aren't necessarily considered a filter, which can affect how well it works. There's algae that work as great as some of these chemical filters. So that's also important to know that it's not necessarily, I know this whole thing has been a discussion. Should you judge a skincare product by the ingredients? And now lately people are saying, no, it's not about the ingredients. It's about the product as a whole. And when it comes to sunscreens, that is true, but not necessarily every other skincare product. It's very discussed. It's very a hot topic right now. So also, since the Purito won the No BS Beauty Viewer's Choice Award, the board is going to be meeting about that this afternoon to discuss if that award should stand, because a lot of people voted for Purito based on their love of this sunscreen, which is now kind of all in jeopardy. So I'll announce more about that soon. But I want to give you a few alternatives. I discussed this in another video, my first video about it, so you can check that out as well. But in my opinion, the Khanambo sunscreen is great. It does have a little bit of a white cast, but once you smooth it in, the white cast disappears. It's got a lot of filters. It's done great in human tests, experiments, and things like that. So if you're looking for a good sunscreen and your main issue is something that's reliable, this one's great. And it's not quite as aesthetically pleasing as the lotiony feel of the other sunscreens, but it's pretty nice feeling. And once you use it a few times, you really will like it. Then the Bioderma Alphazim sunscreen is also great. Does have a little bit of alcohol in it like the Alley does, but this one also has a nice light lotiony feel. If your main thing is effectiveness, the Bioderma brand has done great in Consumer Reports studies. Their Photoderm Max line is great. If you like a lighter feel, their Aqua Fluid is great. They also make a tinted Aqua Fluid, which is nice. And their Photoderm line does not have any fragrance in it or alcohol. When I tested and reviewed these did great as well. And they really have a good reputation. They really do a great job protecting and preventing against UVA and UVB damage. So Bioderma is great. Their Photoderm line is amazing. The La Roche-Posay, they have had some issues with one of their sunscreens, but their Shaka sunscreen has always done pretty well. So this one's a good one as well. If you're looking for a good, reliable sunscreen, this one's great. Does have alcohol in it. They have the fragrance-free version, which is the one I love. And they also make a tinted version, but that one has fragrance in it. So I'd love a tinted, fragrance-free Shaka version, but that one doesn't exist yet, but maybe by next year it will. And then the Urage is great. This is their Barasun sunscreen. I've been testing it now recently, and it's really done a good job. And another brand, Ultrasun. Theirs have done well in testing. Their Extreme is great. It's not super aesthetically pleasing, but they have a tinted face sunscreen as well, which is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than the Extreme, but Ultrasun has done very well. So for now, those are the sunscreens I'm comfortable recommending. I also really like the Can Make Mermaid Skin UV Gel. This one is J Beauty. I don't have a ton of tests or anything that I've seen about this, although the amount of filters it has, it seems like it's a pretty good sunscreen. This one feels just like a lotion. It feels just like the Purito. But I don't want to recommend it too highly because at this point I'm a little bit gun shy on all of these sunscreens, except for the Bioderma, which I know has a great reputation. So the Can Make feels like a lotion. A lot of people love this one. I'm a little bit gun shy about this one just because of that light lotiony feel. Now, I almost feel like any sunscreen that feels super nice almost can't be great, but that's not necessarily true because there are a lot of great sunscreens out there. But it's all about finding them and trusting your gut, and don't trust any skincare brand implicitly because there's almost no skincare brand that has really, over time, proven that they've always done the right thing. So, anyway. So, those are my additional thoughts, my additional warnings. It's Sunscreen Armageddon. Didn't realize this was going to happen all weekend, but anyway, I want to make this to address the rest of the questions, a few more recommendations, and I will be doing a live stream. I'll also announce it on the YouTube page Friday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, Friday, the December 11th. So we can talk more in depth about this and get to each individual question easier and quicker. So be sure to check that one out. And also, if you're using any of those other sunscreens, just assume you're not getting that level SPF that they recommend or that they say on the bottle until we get the lab test. So Klairs, Purito, Keep Cool, be very cautious of those right now until we know more. And I'm sure more will come out. Although testing isn't like fast, I'm assuming we're going to wait a month or two before we know more. So for now, pause using those and use something else until those results come back. So anyway, thank you guys so much. And if you have questions, anything for the live stream, leave a comment below. Okay. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you with the review tomorrow. I've got so many reviews waiting, but this is very important. So especially for people with histories of skin cancer in their family. Sunscreen is a drug. It's the most important skincare product we have. And when we find out things like this are happening, it can kind of throw us all for a loop when we kind of come to trust brands, come to trust manufacturers, come to trust regulatory boards. Kind of throws us all for a loop. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and leave a comment, and I will see you more tomorrow. Thank you so much.